Sustain nutrition.
The biggest mistake you're making with your training.
You're probably not doing the right training. So, we know there's some of you that are doing what we advise, but there's also a lot of you who aren't. So we're just going to talk about that today because it is just so important. I feel like it's one of those videos that we've made a few times over the course of our kind of sustained lives, but it just needs repeating again because it's not being adhered to as well.
It's so important, yeah. The kind of biggest mistake people make is choosing exercise over training. You exercise to get sweaty, you know, to get your heart rate up, to burn a few calories. You train for a purpose. Well, that purpose is to get stronger, is to build more muscle, or is for fat loss.
Yeah, so if we're looking at getting results over a period of time and maintaining them, then you simply have to get stronger. Well, you don't have to, but it just makes the whole process easier. We've been talking about this quite a bit recently in the office, and the issue is people are going for instant gratification. So normally we talk about this with food. People don't think long term, they end up kind of snacking on junk food. And this is kind of similar with your training because people want to enjoy their training, so they pick the things they enjoy the most, and that's fine. But it's a detriment to your long-term progress, and there are ways that you can marry the two. So even if you don't want to do one of our training plans, which is fine, you can still take elements of it. So for example, doing a pull down, a chest press, a walking lunge, a goblet squat, something, some kind of strength work, logging it and progressing it. And if you do these things, you'll get some of the benefits. If you don't do any of them, then you're simply not going to get the progress that you're looking for.
Yeah, as Joe said, it's kind of looking for that instant gratification of doing a HIIT workout, doing a high rep circuit where, you know, you get hot, you get sweaty, your bum might burn a little bit. That's okay, just there, like I said, you're going to burn some calories, you're going to get a bit sweaty, but there's nothing progressive there. If, you know, we're kind of, obviously we advocate on some of our posts and, you know, the thing saying, do exercise that you enjoy doing because you're more likely to do them. That's great, but it's not optimal. So if you choose to do Zumba, as Joe does, when his results plateau,
which they do,
it's very hard to increase the intensity of the Zumba or the output that he's going to do with the Zumba unless you're making him wear like a weighted vest or something like that. Whereas with weight training,
carry a sausage dog.
Yeah, carry a sausage dog, get a bicep pump. With resistance training, it's so easy just to increase the load or increase the volume. There's so many variables that you can play with, like the rest time, like I said, the volume, the weights, etc. It's just a much easier, much more effective system to get you to your goals than just doing 30-minute, I want to get beasted, I want to get blasted by doing a YouTube HIIT workout.
Yeah, you're just not going to build any muscle doing these things, and this is the key with regards to building up some muscle mass and some strength, is that it just pays dividends forever. So, you know, in the past we've talked about the food that I eat and how I can eat 4,000 calories and lose weight, and that's because I'm really strong. Now obviously there's some sides of that are yeah, not to lose all my humble air, but there's obviously different factors including that, you know, my age and just genetically being kind of a taller person means my metabolic rate's higher. But I've improved that by getting stronger and by training hard consistently and progressing my weight, and it's just so important. Even if you just do a couple of sets of walking lunges a week, it can have such a big impact. So that's enough for me. Yeah, just try and work these things into your training because we just see so many people plateau, and you're plateauing earlier than you should because you haven't done the optimal training. And people are in gyms and they've got access to this equipment, so just use it.
Yeah, if you want to do some hits, you want to do some circuits, then tack them onto the end of those resistance training workouts. But the resistance and progressive linear resistance training is just so important for your results. It's as simple as that. If you go into the gym, you look at all the people that have the good bodies, they're not walking on the treadmill, they're not doing, you know, necessarily spin classes, stuff like that. The majority of the training is going to be built around free weights resistance training. I'm so upset. That's how bodies are built, and you know, you're really kind of missing out a trick and you're making a mistake if you don't prioritize that. It's nutrition, it's resistance training, and then you can look at your kind of your HIIT and your LISS and your supplements, etc. But nutrition, and then the next point should be resistance training.
Yeah, the other factor to that, kind of the final point before Fenton makes a jump for it, is if you are doing these things but you're not logging them, you're not getting stronger, then you're in kind of a similar boat. So if you're just going through the motions of doing 6 kilos in each hand, walking lunges, bent over rows, whatever it may be, you're doing the right things, but your intensity is just way off. You should be finishing these workouts pretty warm and pretty sweaty and knowing that you've done some work. So make sure you're writing down what you do, and remember that numbers are there as targets, not minimums. You know, there's nothing gained from hitting 3 sets of 12. You'll probably get a better body if you don't, and you push harder and you're struggling to hit those numbers. So just remember that and make sure you do keep progressing the weights, because that is just as important.
Indeed, yeah, get comfortable being uncomfortable. As Joe said, it's not a case of I have to hit 3 sets of 10 or 3 sets of 12. I saw someone in the gym the other day, a training partner, did some tricep push downs, just looked, went, I've done 10. He did his set, she put exactly the same weight on again, I've done 10. If you've done 10 reps, there's no point doing it again because you already know you can do it. Up the weight. It's as simple as that. Push yourselves, get results.
It's the simple things, but just so effective, and probably one of the single biggest things that we see alongside, you know, people struggling with their food. It just makes the biggest impact. So please put these things into action, because you'll thank us for it later.
Get